You can ring 114 for a smooth operator. If it's fun you're looking for, write it down now, 114. If we just blew into time and you'd be a little down, you can ring 114 for a smooth operator. If it's fun you're looking for, write it down now.
Hey everyone, Psych here. Welcome to a new video. This week I got 3 new nice Psych originals to share. 2 from a seller on Instagram, and then 1 off Discogs that I made a couple sales on, and then, still have money afterwards in PayPal, so that's pretty nice, even after this purchase, So, if you guys can already tell by the clarity of the sound, I fixed it finally, but it's not the audio from my phone, which is really craptastic. It just really sucks, But I actually decided to record off my laptop, which is right in front of me, and then I'm going to convert it to MP3 and then place it over top this video. So hopefully you guys can hear me a little better. It always kind of bugged me that I always had to turn my videos up. I'm sure you guys had to also, and had to go in like a quiet room to hear me. And right now I'm just speaking really softly, and you guys will probably still hear me over the music I place on this video. So, I always had to shout at the camera, making these videos just so you can hear me explain stuff. So I'm really happy I thought of this. I should have thought of this a long time ago, but it just never occurred to me. It's a little more work for me, but not a big deal. It's kind of worth it. So, anyways. So how you guys doing out there? So, for me lately, even getting these 3 nice originals here, I actually haven't been able to spin them. And the reason of that being, something kind of unfortunate happened this week, early in the week as well, where my needle and my stylus kind of just went to crap. And it makes sense because I was kind of initially kind of pissed off, but I suppose if you really want to take care of your records, after you spin them so many times, you have to change the stylus after a while. And so I have it right here, and so as you can tell, the needle kind of broke off itself. I started to notice like a lot of distortion on some clean records I was playing, and I was like, this doesn't sound right, and I kind of figured it was the stylus, so I tried taking it off, and then the needle just kind of like disintegrated or something as soon as I was pulling on it. So it was kind of bound to happen, but I'm really happy that I still picked these albums up. But I did order a new one last night, and so I was kind of trying to find one for my turntable, so hopefully this one will work that I ordered. So I have to go a little while without playing records, which is kind of tough. It's part of my daily routine. Sometimes I'd usually spin at least 1 a night, it seems like, if not one night, it's every other night. So anyways, back to share these regardless. So I'm really pumped to share these, and they're all clean copies, so I expect them to play pretty well once the new stylus comes in, because I definitely wouldn't want to play it on that one. And this one's been on the turntable since I've had this turntable, which is kind of insane, probably 5-6 years that I've been kind of like, part of the vinyl community and actually spun on this one. I've actually gone through a few different turntables, but this one in particular I've used since making these videos. So yeah, hopefully we can get a new stylus in and replace it. So yeah, with the quality of the sound, you'll probably be able to hear me like belching now, and the birds outside and the dogs right out there. So it might be a little noisy, but I'm gonna try to work with it and see what I can do. Anyways, with all that said, let's get started. So, and hopefully my coughing isn't gonna like make people crap their pants because it's so loud. Because now I don't have to talk so loud, Anyways, So we'll start with these. So a little backstory. If you guys remember me sharing this record back in 2015, I think it was 2015. This was back when I was in college. I picked up Constantine's Day of Light. This is his debut album. And he just released a new record this year, which I've listened to, and it's very good. I just haven't picked up a copy yet. But anyways, Constantine, he's one of the many psych heads from Chicago, and you know, the man has a very extensive and impressive collection going on. I remember back in like 2013-ish, he used to have a Instagram account and would share all of his records, and it actually exposed me to a lot of stuff I did not know at the time, like How to Blow Your Mind and Have a Freak Out Party. Like that record I didn't know of at the time, and I was like, what is this, you know? He had a lot of very impressive originals, and right now, as we speak still, he's actually selling off his entire collection, as far as I know. And so I had to join in on the fun, you know. I had to ask him about a couple originals, and so one might be on hold yet, but I got at least one of them. I just questioned in my mind, like, does he have this? I might take him up on it and see if he gives me a good price. And so, you know, I did pay up for this, but probably not nearly as much as what it goes for. This is a classic record, and I had to pick him up on this one. This is Arzacle. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Arzacle. I used to say Arzachel, but it actually refers to like star craters on the moon. It's at least one of them. And this is a U.S. press on Roulette Records, of all labels, the Mafia label. And so I've been wanting this since like day one of discovering, you know, some obscure psych records, and this was one that always impressed me, and you know, has a lot of acclaim over the years, and deservedly so. So this is basically, you know, like you saw in my last video, I shared Egg. This is actually pre-Egg. I guess I did hint towards this album in my last video, but yeah, basically all the same members from Egg, but with the inclusion of an 18-year-old Steve Hillage on lead guitar. And man, this guy rips on this album. You know, he's kind of amateur maybe at the time, but still pretty impressive. You know, wailing, kind of space rock kind of guitar licks going on, especially for, you know, late 60s. So this record often gets described as like Canterbury scene, very much in line with Egg and Caravan, Soft Machine, but they are very different from those bands as well. They're all very different. You know, some early progressive movements mixed in with some, you know, it starts out pretty, you know, basic psych rock with a lot of heavy Hammond organ leads, and it has like this kind of ethereal organ sounds going throughout. Most notably Garden of Earthly Delights, which opens the record. And then by the time you get to side 2, they get to these like extended jams where they're just really letting loose, kind of like in a free improv, you know, sort of a free form jam on both tracks, and they're primarily instrumental. So this is just cream of the crop, Canterbury of its type for its time. So it's gotten quite a lot of acclaim over the years, like I've said, and you know, just another fantastic piece to add to the collection. So glad I asked Constantine about this. It's on a beautiful Roulette label. Get a shot of that label there. Yeah, what a strange label for this record coming out on, you know, the same label as Tommy and the Shondells. Kind of bizarre. But yeah, the cover's in nice shape, and the record looks even nicer. You know, you don't see them this clean, and they just rarely pop up anymore. You know, and if they ever do, they seem like they're from overseas. So, and I actually like this red variant compared to its original blue from the UK. So check this band out if you haven't heard of them. Okay, and then this one I'm actually a little more stoked about, perhaps. I really shouldn't say it. I love both of these records, but this one I've always known for years, but I kind of knew the highlights of this record, and I just kind of wanted to wait down the road till I ever got a chance to, if I ever had a chance to listen to it, kind of to experience it in its full glory. And so this one actually popped up on his Instagram, and this one I was just kind of debating for a while. I was like, man, that's a great price, and I'll never see it at that price again, so I just may as well just kind of pony up and buy the damn thing. And this is Mother Tucker's Yellow Duck. Anyways, this is on Capitol label. And this is actually a reissue. It was originally released on the Duck Records label, which is like I think it was its own independent label. And I thought this was like it's self-titled, but it's actually called Homegrown Stuff. And so it's basically kind of a mixed bag of like, man, they sound so West Coast sounding. It's very San Francisco acid rock mixed with, sort of that rural country rock flavor going on. Kind of Birds-esque, but also, I don't know. The Charlatans comes to mind. Hardwater on Capitol. There's another band, the Youngbloods, when they were on that RCA record. I think what's the name of that record? Is it self-titled? I actually don't own that album yet, so I'm not sure. But yeah, paid up, but at the same time, a little less than what it goes for. And yeah, this is fantastic. I actually gave this an online listen, and I've recently uploaded the full album onto my other channel. If you guys search for the full album of this, you'll find it. Except, the track One Ring Jane, which is like the best song for a lot of people off this, was actually blocked, so I had to put the single version because it was cut as a single as well. It's a slightly different mix, but just as good. So yeah, some of the harder rockin' tracks like One Ring Jane, Someone Think is the closing track, has nice fuzz guitar, and Times Are Changing. There's also some nice footage of them on YouTube of them playing this track. So, and there is like a novelty track, A Little Pony, and then there's some poetry being spoken. So it's very of the era. But if you just love that kind of cosmic country rock from the late 60s, this is just cream of the crop, some of the best out there. Right up there with Notorious Bird Brothers, it's definitely in that realm. So, yeah, and it just talks a little bit. I haven't read too much on the back, except looks like it's talking about like their astrology signs, which was, very hip at the time. So yeah, this is just another one I just never expected to get down the road. So anytime soon. And again, very, very nice copy. They also had a second album. I have not heard that one yet, but I heard it's not as favorable as this debut is. Shot of the label here. Flip it around. It's on the puke green Capitol label. So yeah, what else do I have to say about it? So I mean, and if you guys didn't know, a lot of you guys know that Mother Tucker's Yellow Duck also backed up J.K. and Company on White Whale. And there you have it. So yeah, if you guys can find that sale, or find his mega sale on Instagram, it's well worth the hype, definitely. So his stuff's just going like crazy. He's got nice originals. I mean, he's got stuff like Spirit and Worm on A&M. I mean, there's probably only been 15 copies in existence of that one. Some nice private press folk. He's a very big into like the folk scene, the folk psych kind of material. He has the Aggregation, Mind Odyssey. Um, those were some of the big ones I thought of when I was looking at his material, and so just well worth checking out his stuff on Instagram if you guys can. And then I will end with the one that I was probably most liable to get down the road. This is one I picked up on Discogs, and this was listed as VG, and he explained it pretty well in the description. I thought, well, this don't sound too bad, so I'll take a chance on it. And, never owned the debut, and I have their follow-up album right here, which, well, I'll share it in a moment. Just go ahead and share it. The Tangerine Zoo, another Boss Town collectible in the archives. And this band was actually from Swansea, Massachusetts, which is kind of like, just outside the Boston area. And, let's see. Yeah, so it's listed as VG and just looks a lot nicer than that, actually. The disc is also very, very clean itself. So, Tangerine Zoo, they had 2 records. Got the other one here. I've had this one for a long time. Outside Looking In. This is a reissue, but found it for like $10, so I couldn't leave it. Knowing this album more, since I own it in my collection, I've always kind of favored this one. Their sophomore album. Just sounds like more matured to me. They have some more progressive leanings on this, I would say. And they just matured a lot in 1 year's time. Because in this debut album, they kind of start definitely in that garage rock, kind of garage-rooted type of psychedelia. Very much inspired probably by Shadows of Night. Well, that's like a big one. And Bohemian Vendetta, which these guys shared labels with. So it's very much in that kind of vein, and it kind of reminds me of Beacon Street Union in some of the vocals and the way they kind of interplay the fuzz guitar and that organ. We've got tracks like, of course, they open up with Gloria, kind of a typical garage cover, but they do a pretty reasonable version of that. Trip to the Zoo. My favorite is Nature's Children, which ends side 1. And then The Flight on the flip side is also very nice, kind of upbeat psych rock. So yeah, kind of ends like on a flat note for me on the last 2 tracks. Kind of basic, doesn't really go out with a bang. And that's kind of why I appreciate the second one a little more. But otherwise, this is still fantastic, and definitely essential for any Bosstown sound collector or anyone into the mainstream label, that's for sure. So yeah, very stoked to own these 3 originals lately. So I tried to hold that in. Anyways, that's about all I got right now. So hope you guys have a good weekend. I got to work 2 weekends in a row. I do have one more coming in, as far as I know, but I just cannot wait to get a new Stylus. I'm actually itching to play records right now, and I can't. Anyways, I'll quit babbling. Take care, and we shall see you soon.